Members of the board and staff, I thank you for your patience. We are back and we are live on YouTube right now. So Dr. Sullivan, if you would like to start, we are still waiting on Supervisor Hardy and Supervisor Toots to join us, but they will be joining us momentarily. Staff, I thank you for your patience.
Mr. Chairman, if you would like, I'll go ahead and begin with some of the housekeeping business as it relates to an electronic meeting. First of all, welcome to the Executive Committee meeting of the LCTCS Board of Supervisors. Thank you for joining us today. Before we begin, I'd like to cover a few points, given that we're holding a virtual meeting of the board and live streaming to YouTube. First, the meeting is being live streamed online. Please be mindful of that. Those joining by remote access are each asked to keep yourselves on mute during the meeting. Please use the raise hand feature if you have a comment or question. When recognized to speak, unmute yourself, give it a few seconds before you make comments, and then proceed with your question or comment. Next point, if you have trouble with your technology at any point during this meeting, you should text or call Sarah Kleinpeter, our board services coordinator. Also, you may view board items via the links posted on the LCTCS website, and we will conduct a roll call at the start of the meeting, and each motion will require a roll call vote for approval. Members, please state your name when making a motion and issuing a second. The next point, public comments can be made during today's meeting via conference call at 877-810-9415. The access code 6499147#. That information is in the notice of meetings posted on the LCTCS website at www.lctcs.edu. Any public comments received will be read during the meeting by the board secretary or a designee. All public comments must include an agenda item number, a name, and a brief statement. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per comment. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it to you to call the meeting to order.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Executive Committee. Today is July the 22nd, 2020. Is Mickey's not on? Dr. Jackson, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I'd be glad to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sir. Ms. Sarah, would you conduct a roll call?
Yes, sir. Happy to conduct a roll call of the committee first, and then we will see what other board members we have present. Chairman Price.
Here. Here.
Supervisor Mount.
Here.
Supervisor Jackson.
Here.
Supervisor Hardy.
Here.
Supervisor Murphy.
Here.
Supervisor Toots.
Here.
And other members of the board that we have present are Supervisor Mitchell is here.
Here.
And it looks like Supervisor Helen Carter has joined us also. Hello, Miss Helen. Mr. Chairman, we do have a quorum of the committee present.
Okay, very good. Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to request a motion to approve the today's agenda as presented.
So moved.
A motion by Ms. Mount, second by Mr. Hardy.
Have a motion and seconds. Any more discussion? Is any opposition? Hearing none, that motion carries. Would like to seek a motion to approve the May 6, 2020 meeting minutes as presented.
This is Mickey Murphy. I so move.
This is
Second.
Motion by Mr. Murphy and second by Ms. Mount. And I think we're supposed to do a roll call vote for these. So if we can quickly do those. Supervisor Price.
Yes.
Supervisor Hardy.
Yes.
Supervisor Jackson, Supervisor Murphy,
Yes.
and Supervisor Toots,
Yes.
and that is approved.
Sarah, you didn't call my name, but yes.
You made the motion.
Okay, just making sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we need to go back and do the first one again, Sarah?
It would be helpful for the record if we did it by roll call vote. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do that. This is for the motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Yes, sir. Supervisor Price,
Yes.
Supervisor Mount,
Yes.
Supervisor Jackson,
Yes.
Supervisor Hardy,
Yes.
Supervisor Murphy,
Yes.
and Supervisor Toots.
Yes.
That motion is approved officially.
Good. The chairman of the board report will be very short. We are working to finalize the committees of the board, so just wanted to let everybody know that. I'll be speaking to some of y'all down the line on that. So it's a happening thing. That's all I got, Monty.
Very good. All right, I'll jump right into the present report. I do want to mention very quickly that this morning, Sarah provided to each one of you the board evaluation email that should be in your inbox, and so I encourage you to take a look at that if you have not had an opportunity to already. I want to just very briefly hit upon the current enrollment and budget circumstance that we're dealing with. I think all of you are aware, as I've shared with the board a couple of times now, the fall semester, because of all of the challenges that we have been dealing with a restart and the planning that took place in between the first phase and now the phase that we're dealing with of COVID now, has been a difficult and moving target. But I will tell you that the work that is going on at our colleges is unmatched. The teams, in fact, I'm today at Sewella, and as I walked in the conference room, the Chancellor's conference room across the hallway is the entire executive team at Sewella Technical Community College talking about enrollment, talking about how to handle the classroom circumstance, social distancing, protocols, and those kinds of things. Just very proud of the work that is going on across all 12 of our colleges and the support of the board office staff. Having said that, we will deal in more detail a few minutes from now with a policy item that speaks directly to reopening and the protocols that are necessary. But I want to call your attention to some of what our colleges are faced with today in terms of enrollment. As of today, in a fall 2019 compared to same day fall 2020 enrollment comparison, we are down about 15 percentage points in headcount enrollment and down about 11% in student credit hours. Now, from a financial point of view, the student credit hours is much more of an indication of revenue. And so down 11% on the largest term is a real challenge for us. I asked Joe Marine and his team to pull together some financial data. And so if we can, Sarah, I'd like to share the screen so that I can provide the group with a better understanding of the financial picture that we're facing.
Yes, sir. Monty, you should be able to click share screen at the bottom of your app, and you will be able to share your screen. And as a backup, I have it here ready in case you need me to.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing. How about that?
Well,
Pulled the rug out from under you.
I'm telling you, if you want to go ahead and share it, you can, and then I'll speak to it from the screen.
yes, sir.
Monty, what did you say that credit hour number was?
So down 11% in, I'm sorry, down 15% in headcount and down 11% in credit hours.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Dr. Sullivan, it should be shared at this point. Do you see it right now?
Okay. I do not. I see the file that is open, or prepared to be open, I should say.
Maybe take a while.
The other screen is shared. You're sharing the file.
screen. And you get to choose your screen.
So just a bit of background while we're waiting on the document to pull up. If you think of, and the graphic that you're about to see really breaks out the system budget by two different groups on the, I believe all of you can see that now. If you'll expand that a bit, you can see the detail. The column on the left is the FY20 budget. That is the budget that ended June 30 of 2020. In the green, you see State General Fund of 112 million. That State General Fund is what we had for the last year's budget. Above that is an additional roughly 9 million in statutory dedications and other funds. So that total 112 now becomes somewhere in the neighborhood of about 121 million. The blue is the tuition and fee revenue. That tuition and fee revenue is broken out by term to give you a sense of the scale that each of the terms represent. And so as you can see in the FY20 budget, fall represents about 29% of the total budget. The spring represents about 23%, and then the summer, the remaining balance. As you look across the top of the graph, we go from 288 million in FY20 to FY21, about 259 million. That is a reduction of about 29, almost $30 million in a single year. What I also would like to point out to you is the over to in the right-hand column, there is a section highlighted in red. That is Federal CARES Act money used by the legislature to buoy the budget for the 21 year. So that $16 million is to some extent artificially inflates our budget. If we go into the 22 fiscal year and we do not have additional federal support, or if we don't see revenue return for the state, we're going to have to find a way to solve that $16 million problem. But the more direct issue we're dealing with today is as a result of enrollment being down, our revenue is down by about 11%. The chart estimates the entirety of the blue section at 11% down. So it effectively annualizes where we are today. So I want to be real clear that roughly $12 million, 11.8 million thereabout, that we are off in the current circumstance. We are working both at the college level as well as the board office to reach out to students. Neil Aspinwall just shared with me a few minutes ago a new technology that the college has here where they text 1,100 students all at once and got 300 responses back from students letting them know that I'm being to register this week or next week. That technology is really helping us to be able to reach out and touch students. On the flip side of that, at the board office, we have calls going on from about 50 of our board office employees who are calling students at BRCC, Nunez, Fletcher, and Louisiana Delta, literally going down the list and calling student by student and encouraging students, one, to get a sense of if they intend to come to enroll for the fall semester, the other, to identify any challenges that they may be having in not being able to register. So a lot of work going on behind the scenes to drive enrollment. I will tell you the most common response that we get from students who are saying, I'm not sure yet as to whether I'm enrolling in the fall, is I need to hear from my K-12 school system to know how my children are going to be handled during the day before I make a commitment to classes. So the information that is rolling out from our K-12 schools has been helpful, but at the same time, we have major districts around the state that have still yet to give real clear guidance on exactly what to expect for parents. And as such, parents are not enrolling themselves in classes until they know what that detail looks like. So our hope here is that the 11 percentage points that we are down in credit hours is a delayed 11%. In other words, these students will materialize, but they need more information before they can make a determination. What we're not hearing is a great deal of concern from students about they are unsure of the health environment at the college. Instead, they are hearkening back to what they experienced during the spring semester, the great work that went on by our faculty to reach out and really give the support that's necessary to help those students complete in the spring. I present you with this not as a, the sky's falling. Please understand, I just want to be sure as a board that you know where we are as of today and the steps that we're taking to try to resolve the budget shortfall that we have today. So you see on the far right side of those two bar charts, the explanation in much more detail. I won't go into all of that detail, but certainly glad to answer any questions that you may have. And Joe, anything that you would like to add to those comments?
No, sir. You know, obviously, enrollments drive tuition revenue. So the extent that we can have technological advances with immunizations and other efforts will bolster our enrollments, obviously, going forward. It's just something we'll have to keep an eye on.
Any questions of from board members on the enrollment front or the finance front?
Monty, what's our is our start date different for the various colleges? So how much, I guess I'm asking, how much time do we have to get this right?
So the earliest start date that we have is for technical programs at BRCC. They start on the 3rd of August. And so we're prioritizing the students that are focused on those programs. The latest start we have, I believe, is the 16th, if I've got the date correct, of August. So that kind of gives you an idea that we're about 3, maybe 4 weeks out. One of the concerns that we have in community colleges, our university partners have a much longer runway from application to enrollment and pay. For us, many times our students show up in that last 2 weeks. And so right now the concern is that this same day comparison from one year to another shows an 11 percentage point drop off. And our greatest hope is that these students are indeed going to continue. We don't hear a lot from our students that they're going to stop out. The students who are saying to us, I don't think I'm going to be able to enroll, it's because they've lost a job, because they are financially strapped in a way that won't allow them to attend. So time will tell over the next week or so, but please know that every effort's being made to reach as many of these students as we can.
Yep.
Other questions on this one? All right, let me also point out, as it relates to the red section, the $16 million in CARES Act funding, there is ongoing discussion at the federal level about a 4th stimulus package. We believe that within the next 3 weeks, there will be agreement on that 4th stimulus package. You will recall that the state of Louisiana received about $1.6 billion. That $1.6 billion was carved up in different ways. The $16 million that is plugged into the budget is a replacement for state general fund. I anticipate that in the next stimulus package, we will see a fairly significant amount increase from CARES Act in new federal funding, but I believe that federal funding will be intended for both the 21 fiscal year and the 22 fiscal year. So we'll have some further conversations once that materializes. The best news on the Senate side, the Senate President McConnell has pushed out the conservative version or Senate version of that bill with funding for education to the tune of about $104 billion. And we anticipate a 70-30 split with K-12 across the country. 30% of that $104 billion would go to higher education. That is roughly double what we saw from the CARES Act amount. So we're hopeful that will materialize. But I think for all of us, the concern is how much longer can the federal government continue to sustain the operations of states like ours. So very much of a concern, and also the inflationary impact on the back end once we begin to see this economy return. So we'll continue to keep you posted on this front and continue to update you as we have additional information. What I will begin to do is an update on enrollment that probably will come to you weekly. If you'd like to see it more often than that, we will. But I think it's at a point in time where it's necessary that you as board members see what that enrollment trend is looking like, given the concern that we have here. Any questions or thoughts? Okay, with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back to you. That is concludes the president's report.
Okay, thank you, sir. Supervisor Jackson will now present the academic and student affairs action item for consideration by the board.
Is that the Act 9?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would just present for the board's consideration. And I'm not sure if we need to, maybe somebody can clarify, do we need to adopt this? But Act 9, basically a bill, House Bill number 59 from Representative Mincy, which summarizing, which
Supervisor Jackson, it's on page 3 of the email that I sent last night. It's for board action, the approval of the LCTCS policy 4.012, the measures in response to COVID-19, which is the act you're referencing.
And Supervisor Jackson, if you wish, as staff, I'll gladly take this item on and present to the board as we do at regular board meetings.
okay, I appreciate that.
Certainly, certainly. So as Supervisor Jackson was saying, Act 9 was passed by the first legislative extraordinary session related to COVID-19 measures, which mandated that higher education management boards adopt policies informed by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention guidelines to provide minimum standards, policies, medical exceptions, and regulations to governing the reopening of schools for the 2021 school year. Obviously, given all that has been transpired since March of this last year, both secondary and post-secondary school systems among all state agencies and private businesses have been wrangling with COVID-19 issues in terms of social distancing, sanitation, immunization, or sterilization measures, and other things. So they passed this policy to basically ensure that higher education was adopting policies or some guidelines to at least institutionalize and formalize a process by which measures are instituted for COVID-19. So to that end, what we have done is created a policy. It's actually a facilities policy because it pertains to not only students and staff, but also visitors who may come to our facilities, basically doing 3 things. One of them is ensuring that there's a committee established at each institution and the board office charged with the implementation and supervision of measures of plans that are developed that will comply with CDC and executive orders issued by the by the state of Louisiana. And obviously the reason being is that we don't want to necessarily formalize exact measures because COVID-19, as we've all learned, has been a ever evolving situation that changes almost weekly. So to that end, we just basically said that we will adopt measures provided by the CDC and the governor's office that are issued through the executive orders. And lastly, the policy provides that plans will be developed by the colleges in the board office and submitted to the system president no less than 14 days prior to the beginning of the fall 2020 semester. So with that said, staff recommends that the board approve policy number 4.012 titled Measures in Response to COVID-19 in compliance with Act 9 of the first extraordinary legislative session of 2020.
Okay, y'all heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Jackson, second by Mr. Hardy. We'll do a roll call vote.
Before
You want to have some
we do the roll
discussion?
call vote,
Yeah.
if I may, I'd like, just for the sake of the board, so that you have a better sense of the actual protocols at the college level. And I've asked a couple of members of our leadership team to join us to walk through those protocols and grab institutions at opposite ends of the state. We have Chancellor Larissa Littleton-Staub from Delgado and Chancellor Rick Bateman from Bossier Parish Community College. And so perhaps let me ask if Chancellor Staub would, if she can walk us through the planning that has gone on at Delgado, kind of in a brief snippet, and if there are questions, would love to have the board have those questions answered as a part of these. So, Chancellor Staub.
Good afternoon. Chairman Price, members of the Executive Committee, Dr. Sullivan. It's a pleasure to be with you, albeit virtually. It's an honor to tell you where we are at the college as it relates to our COVID-19 planning. Joe, you mentioned that it's been an ever evolving situation, and you could not be more correct. Beginning late May, we brought our housekeeping staff back to campus and we provided them with intensive training on exactly how to clean and disinfect the campus. In addition to that, we provided them with information related to how to keep them safe. Just proper protocols as it relates to disposing of gloves, disposing of masks, wearing the gowns and the like, because they are our first line workers. So of course we wanted to make certain that they were prepared not only to do the job, but also to keep themselves safe as well. We have begun to come back to work. We have quite a large number of staff that are still working remotely, and we also have classes that are taking place this summer. This has provided us with an opportunity to see what works and what will not work. We have a few students, a number of students who have had to come back to campus this summer to complete coursework from the spring, welding, automotive, and the like. And what we do is every day there's a screening. So in order to access any building of the college at any location, you have to go through a temperature check. If your temperature is above 100, you're not allowed on campus. You complete a screening survey. And once that is all complete and you're cleared, you receive a wristband. I don't know if you can see the wristband. So even as the chancellor, I go through a checkpoint. That wristband allows everyone to know that you've gone through the checkpoint and that you've been cleared to enter. Moving forward for the fall semester, faculty have 65% of our faculty, actually, I'm looking at our numbers, have received training related to online class instruction and virtual instruction. This is so that at any time, if we need to flip to an online or a virtual modality, they're prepared to do so. 65% have gone through the training, and we have training slated, virtual training slated from now until August 10th. About 70% of our classes will be offered online or in a virtual format. Those classes that will be face-to-face, the students must adhere to social distancing protocols. Everyone is required to wear a mask. We are in the process of making a determination as to whether or not we will still maintain the checkpoints or if we will move to another method of check-ins, be it a web-based approach or what have you. As I'm sure you are aware, it's a constantly changing, evolving situation. We have social distancing signs placed throughout all of our buildings. No more than 2 individuals are allowed on an elevator at one time. In instructional areas, we have what's called X marks the spot, which will force social distancing, which means students will not sit in chairs that have an X marked. All of our courses have a virtual platform, so we will have students who will be in class physically, as well as we will have the virtual component as well. So students who are operating from a virtual standpoint will be able to see students who are in class face-to-face. That is just some of just a lot of work that has been put into plans that we are doing. And I will entertain any questions that you have. And I'll just end by saying, it's so good to see all of you.
Sorry, I was speaking to myself apparently there, right? If we can, perhaps we'll turn to Chancellor Bateman and ask him to make a few comments, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Hey, good afternoon, Chairman Price, Dr. Sullivan, members of the Executive Committee. I appreciate this opportunity to share briefly about BIPC's response to COVID-19 and how we're moving into the fall semester. I could not be more proud of the team at BIPC and the way that they rallied with a solutions-oriented mindset to the initial stay-at-home order. In less than 48 hours, our computer services department stood up a virtual desktop interface to go along with our VPN system that made it possible for us to work remotely and to serve students. faculty that never taught online before were paired with experienced distance educators, and with the support of our e-learning staff, they were brought up to speed. We secured Chromebooks for students that were in need of such, and we became a clearinghouse for all sorts of information on how to access the internet, with discounts to free services to which restaurants will let you park in the parking lot and access their Wi-Fi. We pulled out all the stops. And we did more than just make it through the spring. I was so proud to send Dr. Sullivan this text, a couple months ago that we finished the spring semester with a record number of graduates. We graduated almost 900 students, and they earned almost 1,200 credentials. I love that we did more than just survive, but we found a way to thrive. In our allied health programs, we were able to graduate many students early. And one of the really cool things was our respiratory therapy assistant students are, as you can imagine, they're in such need that they not only graduated early, but they picked up some really nice signing bonuses. We made a decision to offer almost all of our summer programming online. This is when we were still under the stay-at-home order. That summer has gone well, and we're also moving. Next week, we'll graduate a record number of students in a summer term at BIPSI. All of our plans have been shaped by the guidelines that we've received, be those from the White House, from the CDC, the Governor's Office, the Department of Health, the Board of Regents. We've developed our plans around those guidelines and those phases for reopening. Even during the stay-at-home order, we always had a presence on campus. It was, at the very least, we had security and facilities and maintenance and custodial folks on campus. We developed extensive protocols for cleaning and sanitation, and those continue on a daily basis. In fact, on a nightly basis, there's at every night there is a chemical that they release through the HVA system to help sterilize the place. In phase 1 and phase 2, we continue to provide instruction via distance and work remotely as best we can. I think everybody here knows that phase 2 has been extended to August the 7th. Our fall classes at BIPSI actually begin on the 21st of August. So we're ready though. We're ready whether that is to begin under phase 2 or to begin under phase 3. We've built a fall schedule that we like to say is on campus, online, and on pace. We're providing students with the courses that they need to stay on pace to completing their programs of study. And we're using a flexible approach to those course offerings. A lot like Dr. Steib, we've got courses that will take place on campus. Those are essential. BIPSI has not just a beautiful campus, we've got amazing facilities and amazing equipment. And our students need access to those simulation labs. They need access to that specialized equipment if we're going to guarantee employers students that are ready to work on day 1. When we enter phase 3, we're going to continue to follow all of the protocols that you heard Dr. Steib lay out. We've partnered with a third party to do the health screenings at our access points. Currently we have 2 access points on campus, and as we move closer to the start of the fall semester, we'll add another access point. But they're doing the health screenings and they're doing the temperature checks, and they're also distributing wristbands. We do have the majority of our coursework that will continue to be offered online or hybrid. Those online courses, they can be synchronous, which means the students will meet with that instructor at the same time every day or those days a week that the class is scheduled, or asynchronous, which is more of a self-paced e-learning environment. When we have students on campus, we'll maintain the 50% capacity protocols. We have put in the requirements to wear a mask into our student handbook and to our faculty employee handbook. Folks will understand, if they don't already, that this is a way that we're going to help beat this thing. So Our plans from the very beginning have been rooted in decisions that are focused on the health and well-being of students, faculty, and staff. We feel like we're following all the guidelines that are coming our way, and we're focused on creating the highest quality learning experiences and outcomes possible for our students. If you hear snoring, that's my dog Winston sitting right next to me. He's snoring like a truck driver, but we love him nonetheless.
Hey, easy on the truck drivers there.
I'll pause right here and love to join with Dr. Stipe to answer any questions that you may have.
Very good. Questions or thoughts? All right. Very good. Someone had a question? All right. Very good. I think at this point we have a motion and a second, Mr. Chairman, and if you'd like, we can turn it over to Ms. Klein-Peter and she can conduct the roll call vote. And I want to thank Chancellors Staub and Bateman for all the great work and all of the chancellors. Thank you, and thank you for being with us today.
Absolutely. We do appreciate your hard work. Ms. Sarah, would you go ahead?
Yes, sir. We have on the floor a roll call vote by a motion by Supervisor Jackson and a second by Supervisor Hardy, and we'll go through the roll call. Supervisor Price?
Yes.
Supervisor Mount?
Yes.
Supervisor Jackson?
Yes.
Supervisor Hardy?
Yes.
Supervisor Murphy?
Technical difficulties.
And Supervisor Toops?
Yes.
Done.
Murphy's a yes.
All right, perfect.
Unanimous.
That motion has passed and is approved.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Supervisor Hardy,
Yes, I guess I'm up.
you're up.
At this time, I request a motion to enter executive session to discuss item G.2, Chancellor retirement updates. And I would ask Ms. Klein-Peter to take a roll call vote.
Yes, sir. First, we need a motion to enter an executive session.
Murphy makes a motion to enter executive session.
Stevie, second.
It's been
Great.
moved
And
and seconded. At this
And now we'll
time,
take a roll call vote. And Supervisor Price?
Yes.
Supervisor Mount?
Yes.
Supervisor Jackson?
Yes.
Supervisor Hardy?
yes.
Supervisor Murphy?
Yes.
Supervisor Toops?
Yes.
Is a yes. And we will now enter into executive session at 2:55 p.m. And board members, if you would please mute your Zoom or log off of this Zoom and join the other executive session call. We will begin as soon as everyone gets there. Stevie, it's the Teams one.
Of course it is.
You log off.
So we're going to do it by call, Sarah?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, I was on mute. We'll do it by call. So it's the second invitation that I sent to you guys for today.
Yes.
And Katie is going to send it out right now as a sits top of your inbox.
So we have to log back in.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Monty, it's Sarah. I have you on, and Stevie Toops is on also. I think you're still on mute. And I'm gonna bring this computer in the other room so that everyone can hit it. school.
All right, I think we have everyone back. Sarah, you with us?
Dr. Sullivan, yes, I am here. And I think I have stopped the screen share. And
Well, that is a cool picture of Stevie Toops, huh? How about that?
Yep. It's a
and
glamour
so,
shot.
Is the picture cooler than the real thing?
I'm gonna mute myself on that one.
You want me to answer that?
Tim Hardy couldn't wait. He couldn't wait.
all right, and if we want to go ahead and call roll to reestablish a quorum, Mr. Chairman, would that be okay?
That'll be fine. Is everybody here?
No, we're still waiting on Willie, it looks like.
Right. Now, the Vinnie St. Blanc rule applies here now.
Yep.
Give me just a second. Let us get Willie back in here.
Sure.
To admit, I'm impressed with the ability of the group to toggle between Zoom and Microsoft Teams here. I'll tell you, I wasn't sure I could do it.
My gosh.
Well, there's some that haven't toggled yet, so don't be too impressed.
Yeah, right. I'm still waiting on folks.
I got a secret for everybody. While you're in it, if you have your phone on mute, all you have to do is hold your space button down and it'll let you talk. And when you let go of it, it goes back to mute again.
I do good to do all that at one time.
Yeah. That's way too complicated for me.
Hey, now he's on vacation. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's my work one. That's for Tim Hardy.
Where's the one with you and Porter?
Does Rudy Aguilar count?
I'll take that.
Mike the Tiger? Freshman in high school, Stevie.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's one of those who wore it better deals right there.
Right, Sarah, any luck in reaching Supervisor Mount?
Yeah, she is trying to get back in right now.
Okay. Folks, while we're waiting, I'll just take a minute to encourage you. If you have an opportunity to be around or with members of the federal delegation, I strongly encourage you to talk with them about the importance of stabilizing funding for our colleges. The group has been just they put in a lot of effort, and in particular on the Senate side, I feel good about where we are there. So Sarah, let me turn back to you for a roll call.
Yes, sir. We'll do a roll call vote to exit out of executive session at 3:21. Supervisor Price,
Yes.
Supervisor Mount is here.
Yes.
Supervisor Jackson,
Present.
Supervisor Hardy,
Yes.
Supervisor Murphy,
Yes.
Supervisor Toops is here. We all see him. And
Here.
Supervisor Mitchell is here.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, we do have all members that were in executive session present out of executive session.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to state for the record that no votes were taken and no consensus was reached during the executive session. Supervisor Hardy?
That is, I think that's the end of my duty.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. Just wanted to be sure. Any other additional business coming before this board? Any announcements?
I would like to reiterate Dr. Sullivan's announcement earlier today that we sent out the annual evaluation email. And if you could, please complete that by August the 3rd.
Okay, everybody got that? Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Jackson, second by Mr. Hardy. And it seems as though we stand adjourned at 3:22 p.m.
Thank you, guys. Very much appreciate you.
Take care,
Thank
everyone.
you.
See y'all next time.
Everyone be careful.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Be safe.